The past 2 weeks of the Wawa Cup Series have been anything but normal for the race leaders on the last lap of the event. Well, here at Rockingham, there's nothing normal about this racetrack. We've got a 4-second fall off on the tires, very tight corners and fast speeds early on. And you never know what's going to happen here at The Rock. We've been coming here since Season 2 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series all the way back in 2015. And we're back again for one of our favorite races here in the Wawa Cup Series. This is the Cheerwine 400 here at Rockingham Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina. The 8th race of the season in the 2024 Wawa Cup Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here and welcome to The Rock. We're going to have some fun with this one here today. Back on the Speedway, we've had a couple of short tracks and road courses here, and let me tell you, you didn't want to be leading near the end of those races. At Bristol, we had Nicholas Samidio blow an engine coming to the white flag. And then Travis Crampton, who ironically starts on the pole here today. He was coming to take the checkered flag at Coda last week, blew a tire through turn 8, and that was the end of his day. But I do have a driver, or should I say an owner, who was beneficiary to one of those races. Of course, Angel Gutierrez getting the win at Bristol. His team owner, Chase Harris with Millennium Motorsports. And Chase, I'm going to ask you first before we get into this race, can you explain what's been going on with our leaders these past couple of races?
No idea. I've never seen anything like it. Obviously the Samidio situation at Bristol was already crazy, but then last week with Crampton was just like the cherry on top. And so you gotta, wonder if maybe even the leader late in this race might be getting a little nervous with all these issues we've had. But yeah, it's unexplainable as to what's been going on. But we'll just have to see if that, trend continues, or if maybe we'll have a bit of a cleaner race today. But man, with that tire wear off, it's going to create some problems, that's for sure.
And tire management is going to be key here today. That was actually the key in last year's race when Thomas Troxel got Matt Tuck late in the going. And whoever can save their tires the best late in the run is probably going to be the one who ends up getting the race victory. But we'll have to see how it all plays out. Just as Chase mentioned here, you mentioned it to me before we started here, we tend to see an early caution here at the Rockingham Speedway. And if that happens, what do you do on that first caution? Do you come down the pit lane, get fresh tires, or do you stay out, try to get the track position? What's the strategy on the pit lane here today at the Rockingham Speedway?
It honestly depends on what lap, if that early caution does happen. It honestly depends. If it's before lap 5, I don't see anybody coming to pit road. But if it's, in that lap 5 to 10 range, then you could maybe see some people take a gamble and go down pit road, try a 2-stop strategy. But yeah, it's going to be tough. There's so many possibilities here, and that's what I love about this racetrack, is that there's so many different strategies you can run, and you can make all of them work. But it all depends on cautions. It all depends on what kind of setup you have in your car and how well you can save your tires.
And we'll have to see which one can do that the best here today to get the victory lane here in the 8th race of the season. 7 races so far, 7 different winners, but we finally had our first race winner who won a race last year with Rogel Dorn. And you know what? He's doing all right in the points as you see on your screen, but it's still Thomas Troxel who won this race a year ago, your points leader, 17 points ahead of Brian Webb, and then 30 points behind is Daniel Paulus Jr., 38 behind is Matt Tuck, did not have a good run at Coda last week, and then Brady Mardi Gras tied with Jack Haas there for 5th in the standings, 39 points behind. Good season so far for Trey Bartow, Blaine Keys, and Angel Gutierrez there. Of course, Gutierrez has a win. They are 40, 47, and 49 respectively, and Rogel also 49 points behind coming into today's event. But starting on the pole is a guy who really needs a good run, and he had a good run last week. But we all know what happened. Blew a tire on the last lap. Travis Crampton, who sits 36 in the point standings and arguably should be much higher in the standings than that. But he has had so many issues that have kept him outside of the top 10 and out of victory lane this season. He's really dug himself a hole, but he starts in the best position possible here today alongside a Sprint Series driver. That's Juan Romero, who won on Wednesday night for his 3rd race win already in the Sprint Series at South Boston Speedway. So You know, Juan Romero's a solid driver. They're driving for Team Williams. You got LJ Cimento, our Daytona 500 winner. Really haven't seen too much of Cimento since that Daytona 500 win, but he's on the inside lane of Bryce Egan. Rogel our last winner, to the inside of Bruno Giacomo there in the third row. We got Braden Perez and Jack Haas, a couple of drivers who have had a pretty solid run so far this season, especially that 39 of Jack Haas. And you got Sam Ozkin and Philip Torres rounding out the top 10 starting positions, but a couple notable drivers back here with Trey Bartow, Logan Williams, Brady Mardi Gras. We've seen them up front in a few of these races so far this season. Of course, Bartow and Mardi Gras very consistent so far this year. Logan Williams is kind of still struggling like he did last year, but not as bad as it was last year. There's Matt Tuck in the 54. There's Nicholas Samedi on the 59, our defending champion Drew Webb midway through the field. And then some notable guys kind of deep in the field. Blaine Keys, Angel Gutierrez back in there. Thomas Troxel won this race last year. Daniel Paulus Jr., Ludovic Charette. They're all deep in the field. And, of course, Brian Webb starting in the 38th starting position here for this race. He won the truck race here back in October. He's second in the point standings coming into this race, but not a good starting position for him. We'll have to see what he can do as this race progresses. But it's Travis Crampton on the pole position. Let's see what he does here to lead these guys to the green flag. And Chase, we have a lot of strong drivers starting up front in this race, but a lot of strong drivers also in the back of the field here today as well. Who do you think is going to go to victory lane here in this Cheerwine 400 at Rockingham?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a guy that, tended to have some pretty good luck when I'm in the booth. That's the 23 of Braden Perez. You think back to Michigan when Drew Webb blew the tire there on that last lap. One of the craziest finishes in this channel's history. And yeah, I feel that 23 is going to be able to save his tires and get, to the front of the field, I guess I should say. He's already up there, but get to the top position by the end of today's race.
And of course, he starts 7th, a great jump on that inside lane, as we usually see here at Rockingham, which will benefit those guys early on, but we got about a 4-second fall off here, so that outside lane will come in later on, and a 52-lap fuel run, so things get a little dicey later on. But here we go, we're green flag racing at the Rock, we're underway in the Cheerwine 400. And what was I just saying about that inside lane? 4 guys who started on the inside lane, top 4 right now. Rogel our last winner, to the inside of LJ Cimento, and we're seeing the same thing we did last week. Travis Crampton leading, Rogel in second. And that 74 will get the advantage right here. Braden Perez in the 23 looking to take third away from the 71. And Salmon Ozkin. Solid run for Salmon. Hasn't been the best of seasons for him. You haven't seen him up front too much, but he's 15th in points there for Deriding Racing. And there he is, 4th on the racetrack. But it's Travis Crampton leading this field, and I bet you he's thinking about last week after what happened to him on the last lap of that race.
Tell you what, right now, you're going to notice these first 5 laps. They're going to be running super fast, but you will notice a fall off by lap 10. They will look slower because they will be going at least a couple tenths slower. That's how quick tires wear here at Rockingham. It's such a rough surface and battle for the lead. Here comes Dorn.
And Rogel Dorn, remember Atlanta. Remember that race early on. He peaked out to about a 6-second lead before the first caution came out, which ironically I think was caused by Travis Crampton. He lost that lead and then lost the race, but he showed so much speed at Atlanta, and you know what? Rogel Dorn is definitely going to be a guy to watch out for as the season progresses. Obviously got that win at Coda last week. I think this is a guy who is going to consistently run up front as we move on, and we already had a spin, apparently, but everyone's still pretty much on each other right there as the 11 machine of Nathan Faden at the back of the pack, so interesting to see that moment right there. Not a good run for the Webbs. Brian Webb and Drew Webb deep in the field here to start this one. Ludovic Charette struggling there as well, and Logan Williams also fell back as well. And here's our last Rockingham winner in the Cup Series. Thomas Troxel trying to move his way through the field as he started deep in the field. He's up to 25th right now. Your driver there, Gutierrez, midway through the field. Some guys moving up very well. Nicholas Samadillo in the 59, looking to take the 10th position away from Brady Mardi Gras. This is a guy to watch out for as the season progresses. He's got a chip on his shoulder from what happened to him. And we got ourselves another pass for the race lead here as Crampton moves to the inside of Rogel Dorn. Another guy who's got a chip on his shoulder after what happened last week.
Hey, with his 98 and 74, taking turns battling for the lead. You know that's going to bring in. That's going to bring in Sam at Oskin in third. 73 is closing. Man, what a start to this race for the 73. Moving up through the field very quickly. Oskin might have something to say about this race.
Of course, Sam and Oskin, he won on another mile-long racetrack that we both love quite a bit as well last year at the Dover Motor Speedway. And you know what? He might be using some of that skill from Dover. This place has some similarities to Dover, not all the way, but definitely a high-speed, high-banked oval racetrack. And Oskin definitely played a huge part in the Dover race last year when he went to victory lane as a Sprint Series driver. Of course, a full-time Cup driver this year, and he's definitely doing a great job right now. Bryce Egan, Trey Bartow. Trey Bartow's got a good resume here at Rockingham. He's won a couple of truck races here. LJ Semedo able to rebound in the 71. You got Brady Perez, Nicholas Sambadia with a solid run. He's up to 8th now. And they got Avery Alford and Laura Chung there. Justin Zidell battling with Brady Mardi Gras for 11th. Brad Stover's got a couple top 10s under his belt the past couple of races. And Andrew Miller's trying to work his way through the field as well. Of course, the NS Racing team dead last in owners' points coming into this race, but they have absolutely not raced that way at all as the season has progressed. They've just had so many issues. Maybe today their luck finally changes, and Travis Crampton still leading this field here on lap 10.
Yeah, Crampton's doing a good job, and you can see Oskin's going for, I think that 73 might be the fastest car on the track. That Oskin is flying right now. But that concerns me a little bit for later in this run. Is he saving tires? I don't think he is right now, and we know how big the fall off is. You said it, 4 seconds, so he needs to be careful with how fast he's running right now, because I have a feeling Crampton and Dorn might be saving a little more.
Of course, we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out. If this race stays green and we end up with a green flag cycle, that is going to get really interesting if that ends up being the case, but I don't think we've ever seen a caution-free race here at Rockingham before. I mean, the way these guys just jut off the corner right there off of turn 2, I don't think we're going to see a clean race. Of course, get a bit of a Darlington stripe here at Rockingham off that exit. Now, what is going on with Ludovic Charette? You know, he started off the season fairly strong, and of course, last weekend, Grattan Autosport did not have a good run at all at COTA. But that's a different racetrack. Here is a Speedway, definitely the bread and butter for this team, and at least for Ludovic's case, it is not a good day, and we'll have to see as this race progresses. Right behind Zayden Davidson in the 50. Some of these guys try to work their way through the field. I think another guy who's definitely got a strong car is Thomas Troxel. Obviously won this race last year, did not have a good qualifying effort, but he's up to 19th now after starting deep in the field, and he continues to progress through the field there in that 62, up to 17th now. So we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out as this race goes along. But we definitely have a lot of comers and goers here at the Rockingham Speedway, and that's what makes this place so much fun. This Rogel Dorn got back around Oskin, and he might get back around Crampton for the race lead.
Tell you what, it's a 3-car breakaway, but it might be 4 here in a minute as Rogel Dorn goes to lead, looking 3 wide, but look who's joining the party. Trey Bartow in 4th is taking a bunch of, good 3 or 4 cars behind him as well. This might become a 7-car battle for the lead here soon. This is great stuff early from Rockingham.
Bartow's going to get around Crampton. Crampton got shuffled on the outside lane, and I've been wrong about that outside lane. It doesn't seem to have any grip at all here today, even as these tires wear out. And definitely an interesting moment there for Crampton, as he's going to lose 4 positions in 1 lap. And that's what can happen here, especially when these guys stack up. So Rogel Dorn back out front here in Rockingham, so they swap positions twice right there. Already 3 lead changes here in the Cheerwine. 400 Sam and Askin looking to make it a 4th one. Trey Bartow, how about Trey Bartow? He's had a great year with Hairgel Motorsports. Of course, back in the number 4s, he always has been in the Cup Series, and definitely one of the strongest drivers in the series, as we have seen so far this year. And Hairgel Motorsports definitely a lot stronger than they were last year. He's going for 2nd right there on Oskin here on lap 17, and almost put the bumper to him there going in the 3.
Man, that was really close. Aggressive move by Bartow, but that 4-car, I think he was saving some tires, because now is when tire wear is going to really play a factor. Bartow's moving while you're seeing a couple guys drop back, notably Travis Crampton. So this is going to show who was being conservative.
And another driver who's moving their way up, Laura Chung in the 55. She's a driver. Was in last year's Cup Series full-time, driving for Everbell Motorsports. You all know how that went, but she really hasn't been up front too much. We haven't seen her up front. She's 20th in points, a quietly solid season so far, but here she goes for the 4th position on Braden Perez, and you know what? This might be a great opportunity for her to possibly get her first career win in the Wawa Cup Series. I like what LJ Semeto's doing. He's hanging with these guys. Same with Braden Perez. Of course, a couple of veterans right there, both with race wins under their belt. And Bryce Egan had another solid run last week at Coda. And you know what? This 69 looking pretty good right now here at the Rockingham Speedway as he currently runs top 10. This is definitely a tough place for a rookie driver to get a good run. And you know what? He's doing it in that 69 machine as we got Avery Alford, Justin Zidell. They both got back around Nicholas Amadeo. And now Travis Crampton. How about Zachary Fitzwater? He's another guy who started deep in the field for this race, and he's knocking on the door of the top 10 right now. So many guys going up and down and all over the place here, as Oskin's going to get back around Bartow for the second position, and Oskin still has a shot on Rogeldorn for the race lead.
Yeah, Oskin is hanging tough right now, and that's pretty impressive to do and nearly contact Laura Chung having a fantastic day. But Rogeldorn right now is loving these battles for second. Just, sit there, yeah, keep battling for second. I'll be out here and saving tires out in the lead and not have to worry about anything, but Sam and Oskin right now is a bit of a buffer to Laura Chung, and Oskin might have a run here for the lead. And now it's going to be a good battle, because when they get side by side, it's going to bring in good 4 or 5 cars with them.
We saw that happen the last time and brought everyone kind of back into this battle. And Oskin, you know he's going to go for it right here. How about this for the Swedish driver? Trying to get to the inside of the Dutch driver for the race lead. Got a lot of international flair up front right now. Laura Chung, though, she's going to try to move to the inside there for second, as Rogeldorn's in a bad spot on that outside lane, and Bartow's going to take third back away. And now it's Sam and Oskin leading this field here at the Rockingham Speedway on lap 23, our third different leader already. We're not even a quarter of the way through this race here in the Cheerwine 400.
Yeah, Oskin to the lead. Let's see if he can hold it from Laura Chung, because Chung, I think, was saving tires early on. She's really moved up, looking really fast. Great battle for third. Bartow's going to take it, though. And you can see it's just kind of a lot of shuffling up front right now. You're running third 1 second, then you're running all the way back in 6th, 7th place. And here we go for the lead, Laura Chung.
Another change for the lead here. This is reminding me a lot of that Bristol race we saw a couple weeks ago. The real-life one, that is, not the one we had, because the real-life one was much better than the one we had. I still apologize for that one. But hey, you didn't mind that one, Chase. But how about this? These guys, they wear their tires out, and then it falls off, and the guys in the back save their stuff just a little bit, get the advantage, and that's what's been going on already. Our fourth different leader, and it's Laura Chung in the 55. I think it's her first time leading in quite some time here in the Wawa Cup Series, but great to see it for her. But you got the Daytona 500 champion, LJ Semedo, Braden Perez, Rogeldorn, and Trey Bartow. These 4 guys all know what they're doing, and they're starting to, save their stuff a little bit here as this run. We're only midway through this run, by the way, too. We're midway through the run. If this thing stays green, they're going to come in past halfway. So they still have to save their stuff during this stint here. And then it's when you come down and all of that determines where these guys end up finishing, because that cycle of pit stops is going to be critical to who gets the race victory. Rogeldorn for 4th on Braden Perez.
Whoa, Perez back going in turn 1 had a big moment. That car jumped out from underneath him, lucky to hang on to it. He's going to lose the spot to Bartow as well, but yeah, Braden Perez is just lucky to still have a race car after that. That was very close. And yeah, I think Perez is trying out the high line, trying to see if he can get some grip up there with the tires wearing as much as they are now, but I don't see it coming in. There's not enough people running up there right now. He's not going to get any benefits out of that, and here comes the 69 car, Bryce Egan.
Good run for Bryce Egan, running with these veterans here. As a matter of fact, the funny thing is, you got Laura Chung, Sam and Oskin, LJ Semedo, Rogeldorn, Trey Bartow, Braden Perez. Bryce Egan definitely the least experienced of these guys, but Oskin won a race last year. I mean, technically a rookie this year, but Trey Bartow also a rookie this year in the Wawa Cup Series. But, we're starting to see. I think we're starting to see, and especially with guys like Rogeldorn and LJ Semedo, Trey Bartow, they're definitely guys to watch out for as the season moves on. We're still very early on, and I don't think the ratings have fully come into effect like they did at this point last year. I think last year we had fewer guys doing the ratings last year, so we saw a difference early on. This year, it's been a lot of parity so far, just like NASCAR likes it. And, we've seen a lot of different race winners, a lot of different guys run up front. But you got your first race winner here now, top 10, Avery Alford, who's not had a good run this season at all outside of that win. As a matter of fact, this is only top 10 coming into this race. And you got Fitzwater, Justice Idell up here as well. And how about Nicholas Amedeo, Travis Crampton just outside the top 10. Crampton fell back, but he's trying to rebound here in the 98 machine. So many guys who could win this race, including these guys who are just outside the top 10. One count out, Troxel at 62, of course, won here last year. Not a good day for Grattan Autosport again. Matt Tuck kind of just mired midway through the field, and of course we've noted Ladovic Charrette's struggles here today in that 51, but he is starting to rebound just a little bit as he was able to save his tires a bit on that early part of the run. The Las Vegas winner, Kirsten Bell, not having a good run. Same with our Atlanta winner, Daniel Paulus Jr. Chris Daniels had a very solid run this season. He comes into this race third in points, but not necessarily a good run so far for that 24 machine. Everybody is still on the lead lap. Of course, we had that one spin earlier on, or that one moment that may have been a spin, may not have been. I will say this is one very fascinating thing about this track. It's a driver's track, and I think that is definitely being showcased as Nathan Faden, Juan Romero, and the 50 of Zayden Davidson are 3 of the 4 worst drivers in the field, all hot seat drivers. So I don't think we're going to see what we saw in the last mile-long racetrack and a Sprint Series driver going to victory lane here today. The drivers who have the driver ratings are definitely at the advantage here today at this Rockingham Speedway.
Oh, no question. And one driver I'm kind of surprised about that's really not running up front is Matt Tuck in the 54. Really expected a lot out of Matt, and it's just been a struggle. It just has not been able to gain any ground whatsoever. Just kind of hanging back there outside the top 20. Just struggles. Just doesn't look like Matt Tuck's car is in the track at all, and it just continues to drop back in the 54. Just a rough day for them. Maybe they can try and do something on this pit cycle, but it's a rough day for Matt Tuck and a rough day for Drew Webb right there as well, man. This is a guy that dominated the series last year, and just we haven't quite seen the same dominance this year. He's been fast, but not the speed he was last year.
Well, at this point last year, he didn't have it. Respectfully, he didn't have it. He was pretty much at the same point. He's 19th in points coming into this race, and that was basically where he was, if not worse, at this point last year. When he got that win at Kansas, and then when he got the win at Gateway, I think the win at Gateway is when we all knew Drew Webb was here to stay, and then obviously the chase happened, and could have won 6 of the 10 races, had a couple of issues, including the one you called with me at Michigan. We got 3 wide. Fitzwater out of line and tapping the outside wall, and he fell off right there, because he was up there in the top 7 and then got shuffled out of line. You got Gutierrez, a good run for your drivers, I should say, because you got Ace Garcia up here as well in the 44, and our Bristol winner of Angel Gutierrez in the top 15 as well. It just takes one little slip up to get in that outside lane, and you fall back. The top 2 have started to pull away. Lord Chung and Sam Oskin, those 2 guys saved their stuff, no doubt about it. You got Rogeldorn, Bartow, Perez, and Sameta, who have been on each other this entire race, basically. Bryce Egan along with those guys as well, and then another gap to Avery Alford. Crampton starting to rebound a little bit. And how about our man Jesse Turner, first ever winner on the channel. And hey, I mentioned that 9 years ago on Monday is the 9-year anniversary of the first ever race officially on the channel. Of course, we'll mention that in the Pro Series race at Hillside on Monday night. Jesse will be in that race, and hey, maybe he'll get the race victory there. Maybe he'll get the race victory here today. It's not been a good season for Jesse Turner at all. But he's trying to rebound here with Trinity River Racing running top 10 right now here at Rockingham. Like I said, this is a driver's track. No doubt about it. And these guys here, you can tell they're going a lot slower through the corners than they were earlier on here in this race.
Tell you what, I am so impressed with the 55 of Laura Chung. This is unbelievable. This is an underdog team, underdog driver, and just came in here and she is really quick. Oskin's the only car really in the vicinity right now. If this 55 can continue to have this run after the pit stop, it's going to be tough to beat her. She's gonna be a real threat to win here today, and that would be huge for that crew.
Absolutely would. Now keep in mind, they say this is an underdog team. Dracoan Racing Enterprises won 4 races last year, including the Smooth Fest. And this was the car that Blaine Keys was driving last year. Took it to victory lane at Texas and in the Coke 600, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's an underdog team per se. They got drivers who may not have had as much success in the past. But remember when Laura Chung came onto the scene in the Truck Series in 22, she won 4 times that year, and that was a rating series. So You know, I think she might have finally found her stride here in the Cup Series. It took her a while, but I think she might finally get it. It's no surprise to see Rogel Dorn run well. I am a bit surprised with Sam and Oskin. Has not really shown too much speed as this season has gone along there. Ryan Racing hasn't been the best team so far, but you know what? Oskin, with this run, could find himself top 10 in points going into next week's race at Martinsville. And we'll start talking about that chase cutoff. We'll start really seeing that chase cutoff come into effect. Race 11 at the Talladega Super Speedway. And hey, guess who won there last year? Rogel Dorn. Nice clean race, though, and this has been a fun one, no doubt about it. We've already seen multiple lead changes. We're about to see a cycle of pit stops here under green, and I tell you, it's going to be very, very interesting. If you come down first, you're going to gain a lot of time initially, but considering that that run is going to be just about as long to the end as it is right now, do you want to be one of the first guys to come down?
You know, it's you know, the pros and the cons of it. The pros is obviously that you'll be able to gain ground for the first few laps, but the cons is that as the run goes later on, you're going to get caught again. And so, you know, no matter what, even if you pit early, you pit late, either way, there's going to be some good parts about it, and there's going to be some bad parts about it. And I think it's just a matter of track position and having a good pit crew. And them pit crew ratings are really going to come into play here, because even if the field gets spread out, we know that tire wear is so important here. So you better have a good pit crew. Make sure they're giving you the best possible adjustments they can.
Well, you guys might have a good shot at this one with Ace Garcia. You know, Ace, like you were mentioning before we started, has had a very, very dismal season. As a matter of fact, he is dead last in points of all the full-time drivers. Just issue after issue for Ace Garcia to start the season off, and he's definitely a much better driver than that. We all know that, but you know what? Like I said, this is a driver's racetrack. I think it's showing for some of these guys right now. Because you got a lot of the veteran drivers kind of up there, and, you know, one of them is probably going to get the race victory. You know, the highest true rookie is Bryce Egan in this 69 running 7th. I mean, Avery Alford ran the Sprint Series last year. He ran some Cup races a year ago. And then realistically, you got maybe Gutierrez in the 36. He wasn't in as many Cup races last year, but he's already won a race. Matthew Hubert has had a good start to this season. Fell off the past couple of races and kind of midway through the field right now. Sam Adio falling back in the 59. These guys are just shuffling all over the place back in here. About 10 seconds off the race lead, but still stuck behind Avery Alford. Now, Laura Chung's got about 1.5 seconds on Oskin, and then she's got 4 seconds on Rogel Dorn and Braden Perez right there. So she definitely conserved her tires early on, which is definitely a reason why she's out front right now. And in just a couple of laps, we'll have to see if she's one of the first drivers to come down or if she tries to stretch it to have the advantage at the end of the race. Because this race has a green flag feel to it right now, especially with these guys spread out the way they are.
Oh, it definitely has a green flag feel, but one interesting thing that you brought up earlier that I want to bring up is you are right in the fact that Laura did win 4 races in that truck series when there were ratings. That was, you know, one of the, really, honestly, what's that, the first time we did ratings? Or it was at least up there.
Kind of, yeah, we'll say it is, for canonical
and so that
purposes.
really plays into a factor, especially at a track like this. So, I mean, you know, maybe this 55 crew, maybe it's a track that they circled on their calendar, knowing that ratings were going to be important here, because, you know, with that, you know, truck series ratings and all that, Laura Chung is going to have a little bit of an advantage on a lot of drivers in this field who haven't quite done ratings as long.
Well, the window is open now to make it to the end of the race on fuel, so will we see any of these guys come down? They're so slow through the corners on these worn tires, it almost looks like they're about to come down the pit lane right here. But that is not the case. Also, you gotta keep in mind, we had the same problem at Homestead. You gotta be careful not to be on the pit lane and a caution come out, and that's exactly what happened at Homestead, and a lot of guys ended up losing ground because of it. Of course, we'll wave them around if that ends up happening. We have the wave around rule now, which definitely came into hand at Homestead, and actually, oddly enough, didn't come into play at Bristol, of all places. But regardless of the fact, that's another thing to think about. You're going to get the advantage early on, but you got to wait for everyone to cycle through, and you have to hope that a caution doesn't come out, or otherwise you lose your track position. Now, with that being said, if you get caught back, you can still gain that track position back on the racetrack. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Laura Chung in the 55, still staying out right here. So is Oskin, so is Rogel Dorn, so is Braden Perez. Let's see how LJ Cimento is going to be the first to strike. And we'll have to see We'll have to see if long-term this works out for him. Now, LJ last year was very strong in this race. I believe he led quite a bit of the race last year. Couldn't pull it off at the end, but had a lot of strong runs early on in the season last year. Of course, won the Daytona 500 this year, so he's got the win. But now he wants to find the consistency that he had last year early on. Of course, Titan Fury, a solid team, and we'll have to see what LJ can do. And he's got no one in front of him on his pit box either. He's got a great place on the pit box, right, or in the pit lane, I should say. Got a lot of guys coming down this time right here, including our race leader of Laura Chung. No, actually, she's still out there, so she's going to try to stretch this one, I do believe, in that 55. No, she did come down. My bad. She did come down. Everyone's down now. LJ's going to have a lap on these guys, and we'll have to see what kind of advantage he gets here. Obviously, 4 tires for all these drivers. There's Rogel Dorn in the 74. We're trying to find Laura Chung in the 55. There she is. I believe she's already done with her pit stop. Let's see where she falls out in place to everyone else. She's going to get on Rogel Dorn pretty easily. For Squad Romero ahead. About a lap down. Almost a lap down, I should say, at the tail end of the lead lap. We'll see LJ coming off the corner here in just a moment. But those guys had such a huge lead. She's going to get a pretty significant advantage on the field here. And that 55, as we come across the line right here, is clear out and ahead of this field here and the Cheerwine 400.
Tell you what, though, there's a slight issue for Laura Chung. I mean, it's not a big issue, but there is a slight issue. I do believe she will get into lap traffic.
Yes.
The 00 is right there, and that is a car on the tail end of the lead lap. And that could really create issues. I'm not saying, it'll cause a wreck or anything, but like it could definitely allow some of these second, third place guys to maybe close the gap a little bit, have a chance, especially on these fresh tires. And we've got a wreck.
Bernardo de Oliveira, tire down, and ladies and gentlemen, this is our caution right here. LJ's got to be careful.
Cemeto's in the wall.
Going to be a little bit of damage on that 71, but nothing too significant. He did lose a couple of positions, and this here changes everything. Of course, we went through the cycle, which was nice. But our first caution of the day here in the Cheerwine 400 and for the 57's tire.
Chase Harris jinx right there. Talking about how there's not going to be a caution because of it.
This does play in the hand of Sam and Ozkin. Matt tucks a lap down. Wouldn't you believe it? Yikes. Some guys had a pretty poor pit cycle right there. Same with Kirsten Bell. She's a lap down. The 11 machine, Nathan Faden. Daniel Paulus Jr. is a lap down. And the 50 of Zayden Davidson.
20. What happened to the 20 car?
Not sure what happened to Philip Torres. He had an issue. He's 2 laps down as well. Of course, De Oliveira also 2 laps down. We have 33 drivers on the lead lap. Of course, we just came down the pit lane, so these guys are probably, they're done. They're not going to come down again. LJ Cemeto in the 71 is actually going to still be 3rd. Then you got Braden Perez, Rogel Dorn, Trey Bartow, Bryce Egan. Watch out for Thomas Troxel, who won this race last year. He's top 10 right now. With these guys bunched up, he's going to have a chance. Avery Alford, Ace Garcia. You got Brad Stover, Matthew Huber, Travis Crampton, our pole sitter. Mardi Gras, Miller, Fitzy, Turner, Gutierrez, Zidell, Williams, Sam Adio, Giacomo, one Sprint Series driver that hasn't had a bad day, Dylan Matthews in the 31. Of course, she was in this race last year as a full-time Cup driver, so no surprise there. Jack Haas, Tanner Parton, Drew Webb, Ladovic Charette, Brian Webb, Lane Keys, Philip Torres is 2 laps down, as we noted. Seth Cole, Roberto Crown Jr., Chase Buck, and then Juan Romero, the last car on the lead lap. So this is going to get interesting because that 55 can't risk getting stuck on the outside, but the benefit that she has is that 11 machine is a Sprint Series driver, and I don't think that 11's too fast. So we'll have to see. But it will bring Ozkin back in. It'll also bring Cemeto and Perez, and we still got a long ways left to go here in this Cheerwine 400. Let's go ahead and review the incident real quick and then get back to racing here at the Rockingham Speedway in the Wawa Cup Series 2024 season. Well, this is what occurred here with Bernardo de Oliveira in the 57. And thankfully no one really got, Daniel got a piece of it there in the 24, but LJ Cemeto came close. Just a little tap, nothing too major there. He'll still be 3rd on the restart, and right there, that's all it was. It's going to make for a very interesting restart here, Chase, and I'm excited to see how it goes down. Laura Chung's got some lap cars in between her and the field. We'll have to see how it ends up shaking out if those lap cars end up getting around her and she gets stuck in the outside lane. Let's see what happens on the restart here in the Cheerwine 400. Second, got those lap cars in between Laura Chung and Sam Oskin. LJ Semedo on the 71, Braden Perez, and then Rogaldorn. That's the top 5. You got a lot of lap cars in between the 55 machine and the 73. We'll have to see how it all ends up shaking out. And if you're just now hearing us, I apologize. OBS is OBS right now. And I think it finally just unfroze itself. But hopefully no issues on your end. But, you know, you'll just have to see. Oh, and the 24's got a problem now. And that's a very, very inconvenient place for that to happen.
And that's going to stack up the field. We might have 4 wide going on.
We're going to have another caution because that 24 is not going to get back around. And we do have ourselves these guys all over the place. And the caution's back out again. Oskin's going to clear a couple of those guys, but now Daniel Paulus Jr. in the 24 will bring out our second caution. And once again, it's for a mechanical issue and not for a wreck. So we got Bristol all over again, but for a totally different reason.
There was contact in turn 3. I saw some damage on one of the cars. I think it was De Oliveira again. I'm not sure if there was a stack up potentially in front of him, but I did see somebody got into somebody.
Tough break for those guys, and De Oliveira has not had a good day today, obviously. Caused the first caution. We got Seth Cole, Roberto Crown Jr. back in there, who may have gotten caught up in that as well. Yeah, that was right off the corner there, too, with a lot of those guys second on back right behind it. So, very interesting moment right there, but the top 5 remains the same. Oskin now just has 1 car in between him and Laura Chung. Kirsten Bell and Zayden Davidson a lap down. So is Matt Tuck in the 54. If they get another quick caution, they can end up back on the lead lap again. So we'll have to see if they end up going along with that. All right, let's go ahead and see what happens to bring out the second caution of the day here in the Cheerwine 400. Of course, it was caused by Daniel Paulus Jr., but I think we had another issue as well. Let's see how it all went down here at the Rock. Well, Daniel Paulus Jr., we obviously saw what happened to him there live. That's what officially brought out the caution. What occurred after that? Juan Romero just rear-ending that 5 of Roberto Crown Jr. and Seth Cole, De Oliveira, Chase Buck, and send to the outside wall. None of these guys are going to get knocked out because of that, but definitely not what those guys wanted at all. And tough break for them. But it was at the back of the field, and they'll all still remain in their respective positions, I do believe. Actually, I think Chase Buck did have to come down the pit lane. He's got a buckle on his hood, so he's out there with a modified right now. All right, so we're going to have another restart. Laura Chung now only has 1 lap car between her and Sam and Oskin. We'll have to see what she does here, but we got a lot more lap cars back behind those guys. So let's see how it all goes down for our second restart of the day here in the Cheerwine 400. All right, we're back once again here at the Rockingham Speedway. Quick caution there as Daniel Paulus Jr. had the same issue as Bernardo de Oliveira, and we talk about the tire wear here. Funny thing is, though, those tire issues happened right after they put those tires on. So, bum tires from Goodyear. When have we seen that before? All right, Laura Chung still the race leader. Sam and Oskin is second with only 1 lap car in between him and the race leader. And then you got 3 to Semedo in third. Rogaldorn, Trey Barta, Braden Perez, Ace Garcia, Thomas Troxel, Bryce Egan, Avery Alford, the top 10. Coming to the restart here. We're going to have ourselves 34 laps to go across the line. We're back underway here in the Cheerwine 400 at Rockingham.
Let's make it through turn 1 and 2 right here, please.
Barto going for a spot there on Rogaldorn.
There we go. Trey Barto.
Oh boy, and that 11's got some momentum. Gonna make it interesting here. No. Laura Chung can keep the 11 behind, but all these guys have those fresh tires, and Nathan Faden wants to make it interesting. And Nathan Faden's an experienced veteran as well. May not have the ratings right now, but he's gonna try to make this interesting. Oskin right there looking to strike. All these guys generally staying in line, except for Trey Bartu, who was able to get a couple of positions right there, and Laura Chung blocking down the backstretch.
Tell you what, Oskin wants the 11 to make the move and says, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to, and that did not pay off whatsoever. That's going to cost Oskin time.
LJ Semedo, Trey Barto, and Braden Perez trying to strike on these guys, trying to move up and catch this 55, and this could be a completely different game, especially if this 55 gets in dirty air behind this 11 machine. That could bring those guys behind right in. It'll be interesting to see if that's the case. Ozkin almost got passed there by the lap car of Zayden Davidson. Did not happen right there, and that 11 is still all over the back bumper of the 55. You know, if I'm Laura Chung, I don't know what to do. Do I try to let that 11 by and not lose any time, or, you know, do I just try to race that 11, wear out my tires later on the run? I don't know. This is a very fascinating game, but Laura's got to be careful, because if we don't have another caution, the guys who save their tires now, they're going to work their way through the field just like Laura did in that first stint, and maybe get to that 55, but you got to be close enough to do it in order to get the win. We got 30 to go here in the Cheerwine 400. This race is going to be interesting. Laura Chung trying to get her first career Wawa Cup Series race victory here today at the Rock.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ozkin's gaining ground again, and so I think that 73 has a lot of speed, but those two lappers in between are really going to create some problems. See Bartow getting by the 50 as well. Zayden Davidson, you know, just trying to stay out of the way right now, and that's smart for a Sprint Series driver to lap down. And see, battle between the lappers here. Kirsten Bell trying to get some ground back. But yeah, Laura Chung's in such a tough spot, because if you let him go, then Ozkin's going to be right there. But if you keep racing, your tires are going to wear out. This is a bad spot to be as the leader.
And I think that's what Laura's trying to do. Obviously, she did that the first run, save the tires a little bit, and get it going at the end of the stint. And that's what got her the race lead. But you can't let these lap cars get to the inside of her, because if you fall back enough, you might not get the win. The big cat and mouse game here at the Rockingham Speedway, but we got ourselves another caution, and this time, oh man, I tell you what. One thing after another for you guy there.
Yeah, he is such terrible luck. Team's so fast. He was top 10, and now that's not gonna be another bad finish, even with a good car.
And he was running top 10 at one point in this race. Going to fall back to the tail end of the lead lap in 33rd. Still only the 7 guys a lap down or more. Nobody out of the race here at Rockingham Speedway. Our third caution, though. A little bit of yellow fever. Nothing like we saw 2 weeks ago at Bristol, of course, but definitely a bit interesting right now, because you watch out for this guy. These cautions are helping Trey Barcha, because he's able to save his tires right here, and you saw how aggressive he was on that restart. He moved up quite a few positions. As a matter of fact, he sent Rogaldorn to the Shadow Realm, because that 74 ended up falling way back to 14th. And that move he made right at the start of the race caused that, because now Rogel's in 14th, and just like Atlanta, he had a strong car, but once he got back in dirty air, he was gone, and gone the other way. So a tough day there for Rogaldorn. Of course, still has plenty of time to rebound. But now we got fewer lap cars here up in the top 5, and Laura Chung has to be careful not to let that 93 get to the inside of her, because we know Kirsten's the fast driver. Obviously, she won at Las Vegas. Just had an off day, but those are very good cars there at Evans Ross Racing, and that 93 is going to be a threat here on that 55. Ozkin in second. He's been second pretty much this entire race, but I'm looking at Bartow. All right, let's see what happens. Bring out the third caution of the day here in this Cheerwine 400 and get back to racing at the Rock in the 8th race of the season. This one's a shame. He was 13th at the time. He restarted in the top 10, started to fall back a little bit, was 3 wide on the outside. Ace Garcia in the 44, and just a little too much on the outside. And Hairgel, the restart zone is in the wrong place, just to let you know, but I digress. Garcia getting in the outside wall, coming back down on Tanner Parton, and that was all that occurred. That 44 going for a spin and getting sent to the back of the field, and man, it's just one thing after another for this poor guy who was, like I said, dead last in points. It's probably going to remain that way at the end of the day here after this Cheerwine 400.
Well, this is just unfortunate for us. Ace just gets a little wide, and unfortunately, once you hit that wall, you're going to slide down, and Parton nowhere to go there, and Ace goes for a slide. No big damage in terms of, the body of the car, but damage to the standings has been done. It's going to be hard to gain that, that ground back. But, yeah, unfortunate there, but, see what happens on this restart, man. It should get pretty wild here at the end.
Ozkin's still in second, but he's now got Trey Bartow behind him. Don't count out Semedo and Perez in this one. They're all trying to chase down Laura Chung, who has been controlling this race. Let's see what she does on the restart here in the Cheerwine 400 at Rockingham. We're back here at the Rockingham Speedway. Laura Chung continues to lead this field, looking for her first career Wawa Cup Series race victory, and you got Sam Banowski there in second. Same position he was in before the last restart. One lap car in between him and the race leader. Trey Bartow, though, is third, and that four had a really good run there. LJ Semedo is fourth. Braden Perez is fifth. And you got the 62 of Thomas Troxler running sixth. Like I said, the winner of this race last year. He's very strong. Brady Mardigras, Travis Crampton, Angel Gutierrez, and Matthew Hubert still have one of your guys top 10 after Ace Garcia getting spun around there. All right, Chase, I know you're saying Laura Chung might not have this one in the bag. How does she get this one to go her way?
Got to hold off that 93, especially on this restart. But the 73 and the 4 are going to be aggressive. We know it. Green flag. Let's see how this restart plays out. Bartow's been aggressive, and he's going to be aggressive again.
Just like he did the last one. See, Bartow is close to this 55 now, and you know Laura is thinking about that. And Trey Bartow, what a legend he is on the channel. May not necessarily have the race wins that drivers like Jesse Turner, Nicholas Sambadio, Zachary Fitzwater have, but he's got the longevity, and he's got some numbers too. And Trey Bartow trying to get his first Wawa Cup Series race win. Won one sprint race last year, and that was at Charlotte, the longest race we had in the sprint series a year ago. He's trying to get one here at the Rock and the Wawa Cup Series for Hairgel Motorsports. Get Hairgel his second win of the season. And Laura's doing the same thing. And I'm wondering now if Bartow's going to do the same thing, because you got to think that's in his mind. Like, maybe save the tires, get close enough to this 55 to save my stuff and maybe go for it right at the end, because if this thing stays green, and I know I said that last time, you know, whoever's got the best tires at the end is going to win the race. And Ozkin now slipping back as LJ Semedo is in third. Braden Perez getting shuffled out of line by a lap car, and Crampton rebounding, now up into the top 5 in that 98 machine.
Yeah, Crampton doing a great job. Has a very good short run car, but Trey Bartow's in a sprint series sandwich, or not a sprint. I've totally messed up quite there. A lapped car sandwich.
There we go.
I meant to say
he's gonna go to the inside of Kirsten Bell, and now this race is on.
Here we go, and yeah, that was a mind blank there. I don't know what happened. But now no one in between, and here we go, and Bartow's gonna have a shot at it here because I think that fourth saved the tires a little better and has been more aggressive.
Not a good entry there, though. Lost a little bit of ground. He's got to be careful not to let that 11 get to the inside of him, but I think Kirsten Bell will help take care of that. Hey, your guy, Angel Gutierrez, Bristol winner, moving up. And how about the NS guys, both top 10 for the moment? How about Andrew Miller in this 97? Where did he come from? He's about to enter the top 5. I think he just did. Barton's going to try it back again on Laura Chung for this race lead. So many great battles all around this racetrack right now. It's a shame we really can't focus on all of them, but you get a good look there down the backstretch, down Thunder Alley. Angel Gutierrez looking to close in there on LJ Semedo for the third position, and it's Miller, Perez, Crampton, Ozkin, Zidell, Troxel, Sambadio, and Rogodoran. And I think we're starting to see some of the drivers we're going to see up front this season, up front in this race right now. Will Bartow have anything for this 55? That's the big question, because Laura is still in control of this race, as we are under 20 laps to go. Next time by 16 to go here in the Cheerwine 400.
Yeah, this is going to get real interesting, but I have a feeling Bartow, with how aggressive he was on some of those restarts, it could really hurt his tire wear towards the end of the race. But I'm telling you, the 71 and the 36, and even the 97, the rest of the field, honestly, I might as well just say at this point, is closing. I'm not sure if they're being more aggressive, but yeah, this is going to get real good here in these last 15 laps.
Bartow's starting to slip up, and Laura Chung's starting to pull away, but how aggressive is Laura Chung being on her tires now? Because, looks like you said, I mean, you got this 97 of Andrew Miller, who is just out of nowhere, flying through this field, but even he's got to be careful not to use up his stuff now, because those tires will go out just like that. Bartow's still within striking distance, though. And I really do think Laura Chung is driving one of the smartest races we have ever seen in the Wawa Cup Series, because I think she's intentionally doing this, keeping these guys just close enough so they use up their stuff to the point where she just goes when it's time to go. And I don't know, that 55 is just been in control of this race ever since he's taken the race lead. But watch out for Andrew Miller. Does he have enough speed at the end of this race to maybe have a shot? You know, Thomas Johnson, when he won this race last year, only led the last 5 laps of the race. And for the race lead, Trey Bartow's going to try it right here on Laura Chung. A great exit off of 4. He's got the inside. He's got the race lead with 13 laps to go.
I was going to say, Trey Bartow was laying off going into the corners every single time. Whether he's entering 1 or 3, you saw him lay back a little bit. Bartow waited, got a good exit, and made the move. And Trey Bartow's out front and has 2 lapped cars now to use as a pick as well.
And he's got to be careful, though, with these lap cars who have run the same speed. I mean, you got a Sprint Series driver here, Nathan Faden, running with these guys, even though he is a lap down. And Laura Chung able to get back in line for second, but Andrew Miller, LJ Cimento right behind her right there. But Bartow's pulling away. How about this for Trey Bartow in the number 4? And you know what? This is a guy who has already shown a lot of speed this year. 3 top 10s already, 2 top 5s, and looking for his first ever Wawa Cup Series race victory. And let me tell you, if he gets it here today, I don't think it'll be his last. But Andrew Miller in the 97 is going to give him a run for his money because he just got around Laura Chung. LJ Cimento trying to get a nose on the 55. He's got it. But this 97 also very quick at the end. And if the 11 tries to make a move, which he might try it right here, he's got some momentum. And I think the lack of driver ratings is why these guys are not making the move. I genuinely think that. The fact that these guys who are lap down Sprint Series drivers aren't getting to the inside there is because of the lack of driver ratings. These drivers who have those driver ratings, they're a little bit smarter. Laura Chung, she's fallen back, got stuck in that outside lane, has not been able to get back to the inside. What a tough break for her there. She was trying to go for her first ever Cup Series win. It's not going to happen here today. Oh boy.
Whoa. That was a dive bomb.
That absolutely was a dive bomb there. Bartow, I think like you were saying, he was easing into the corners to get the run off. I think that's what he's still doing to try to hold an advantage here on Miller. Gutierrez looking to the inside of Cimento there for 3rd. Braden Perez is there as well. And you really only have this 1 lap car now in the top 5 that's in the way. So this is going to get very dicey. Oh, but he's going to go a little wide right here. That might give a little bit of a gap to Bartow. Miller's he's just not close enough right now. He might reel him in, but the laps are winding down.
I'll tell you what, Trey Bartow did a thing that I think a lot of people are going to overlook. He put Laura Chung in a position that she had never been in until that point. She was on defense and not offense like she was the whole race, and Bartow made it work. Chung didn't know what to do, and now she's outside the top 10. Man, that 55 just had no fight for Bartow, and you said it. Andrew Miller just might be too far back, but how slow is the 57 car?
It's going to get dicey with this 57 de Oliveira right here, because he is clearly off the pace. Has obviously been caught up in a couple of things that have gone on here today. And let's see, Andrew Miller, 3 tenths that time. Oh, he's got some speed in that 97, no doubt about it. But is Bartow doing what Laura Chung did earlier on, laying back to save the tires for these final 5 laps? I mean, the tires are really starting to get worn out now, but that 97 doesn't care. Look at this 97. Look at this run that Andrew Miller has, trying to close in
Andrew Miller's there this
on
lap.
Faden. He's going to make the move on Faden. That's the smart choice right there. Get around this 11 and be the only guy in between you and Bartow. Nobody.
Yeah, Andrew Miller is there. That 97 is super quick, and I'm going to be honest with you, you're not saving tires at this point.
Not
you
at
are
all.
going for the win. But now, with that lap car out of the way, how do you approach Trey Bartow here? Bartow's been aggressive all race. You're going to have to throw him off his game.
It's a battle of the Pennsylvanians. I love it. Andrew Miller in second. Trey Bartow leading this field. Miller's going to have a good shot right here. And they're going to run into the lap car of de Oliveira. But Andrew Miller's got a shot at his first career Wawa Cup Series win. Both these guys going for their first Cup Series win here in the Wawa Cup Series. And Miller is right there. And all you got to do is beat him at the line. It's 3 laps to go on the Cheerwine 400. They're going to run into de Oliveira right here. And Bartow on the inside lane might get held up as Miller's on the outside lane. But that was not a good move out of Andrew Miller. Because Bartow will get around the 57 right here and clear him. And Miller's going to lose a position to the 11. Or at least lose a car to the 11 machine. He's still in second place, of course, but he's back in line again, and the 11 may be the saving grace for him if he tries to make a move on Barto. 2 to go here in the Cheerwine 400. Gutierrez is 2.5 seconds off. It's between the 4 and the 97.
This race is not over at all, and the 97 right now is going to dive to the inside. This is going to come down to the wire, and we've seen it so many times at Rockingham. About to be another great finish.
Here we go. White flag in the air for Trey Barto here in the Cheerwine 400. Andrew Miller's got one more lap to beat him. Will he do it? NS Racing, they were leading last week on the white flag, and we all know what happened there. They might finally get their first top 5 of the season. They might get the win. Andrew Miller going to try to push it down Thunder Alley here. He's got to get the run off the exit if he's going to have any chance, but Trey Barto dives it in. The 97's going to try to reel him in here, but it's not going to be enough. Trey Barto back in victory lane in the Cup Series. He wins the Cheerwine 400 here in the Wawa Cup Series.
How about that? My goodness, what a race. That was incredible. And Barto and Miller, 2 of some of the biggest names on the channel, battling it out at Rockingham. What a finish, and it's Barto who ends up in victory lane at Rockingham. Great job from that 4 team.
That was beautiful. I would say that this has been the race of the year so far. I mean, we've had some good ones, but this is how I envisioned this race would play out. What a battle right there. And De Oliveira was the deciding factor, but Barto was the smart driver. He got it done in the 4. And all the Swifties are happy here today. That's the only time we're going to mention that. But Barto is going to be the happiest, and I think Carajo's going to be pretty happy as well with that one. But what a battle between Trey Barto and Andrew Miller at the end of that one. And hey, your guy finished 3rd, Angel Gutierrez, and that is definitely a sign of what you guys have in that 36 car. Oskin's going to finish 4th, Braden Perez. Laura got back to 6th. Good run for Nicholas Sambadio, LJ Semedo, Rogaldorn, and Drew Webb there, top 10. Wouldn't you know it? What a race that was. The experience, I think, played out at the end right there. You see the guys who were lapped down, but everyone did finish this race, which is awesome. What a race. And Chase, you were saying this is one of your favorite racetracks, and I think this race explained very much why. But, man, thoughts on that one, man. What a good one here in the Cheerwine 400.
That was a fantastic race from the start, from the wave of the green flag to the wave of the checker flag. So many great battles. We saw pit strategy. We saw drivers saving their tires, drivers being more aggressive. Whatever you would want in a race, it had. And that is, exactly what we want to see week in and week out in this series. That right there was a phenomenal race. Congratulations to Trey Barto, and man, just absolutely phenomenal race today here from Rockingham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a party in some sheets out there in western Pennsylvania because, he's not going to go to Wawa, which is, the disappointing part of this one. I'm sorry, I had to mention it. But, hey, you know what? What a race. And obviously great to see our man Trey Barto go back to victory lane. He's been running since the very first race on this channel 9 years ago on Monday. How about that? He'll be in that race at the Pro Series at Hillside. And just think, at this point next year, we'll be 10 years from that first race. So we got a big anniversary next year. But hey, 9 years this year. And Trey Barto was one of those guys who was in that race. And you know what? He got it done here today at Rockingham. And that was pure skill right there as well. I mean, that was all him. That was all him. And the Hair Gel had a good car to give him today as well. Well, thank you guys so much for watching here today from the Rockingham Speedway. We're going to be back next Friday night, this coming Friday night. The STP Old Dominion 500 from Martinsville. You know that one's going to be a good one, as it always is. Then it's Texas, Talladega, Dover. I'm telling you, we're starting to get into the part of the season where each and every race is just that darn good. And this was the start of it right here, with Trey Barto getting the dub in the Cheerwine 400 at Rockingham. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series after 8 races. A huge thanks to Chase Harris for joining me here today. And congratulations to Trey Barto on his first ever Wawa Cup Series race win. Wawa Cup Series race win, Trey. Say it. Thank you guys for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.